I've been through a lot of things in my life. Pain, heartache, sickness, hunger, fear, doubt, insecurity, loneliness, betrayal, anger, rage, depression, anxiety, just to name a few. Growing up, I always felt like I got the short end of the stick. I always focused on the things God didn't give me. Maybe it wasn't my fault. Maybe I adopted this attitude from the people that I saw around me. Or maybe I really did have it hard growing up. Whatever the case, I wasn't happy with who I was, how I looked, where I lived, how I was raised, the clothes that we could afford, the things that my mom couldn't afford, or the conditions that we lived in. I always felt like God had forgotten me, or I was missing something. My mom and my dad divorced when I was about 5 years old. And there was a 9-year period where I didn't see or hear from my dad at all. His absence created a deep-rooted insecurity in me that I still struggle with today. And sometimes it manifests itself through fear. Fear that my decisions are inadequate, leading me to be indecisive or to not make a decision at all. And because of the split between my mom and dad, this was one of the first times I could remember questioning God. Why? Why did my father leave? Why doesn't he want to be in my life? Why me, God? My mother went through plenty of men as I grew up, but none stained and scarred my heart more than one particular named Bobby. He used to beat my mother severely, and this was not your typical run-of-the-mill everyday domestic violence where when the dust settled, everything was okay. A lot of the times, the beatings resulted in the ambulance coming to our house to pick my mother up and take her away. The worst beating and the most memorable one in my mind was one in particular afternoon. I remember getting off of the school bus and going to my house, running through the door, seeing my grandmother sitting on the living room couch in a house that looked like it had been ramshacked by a tornado. And I asked my grandmother, "Where is my mom at?" She looked at me with tears in her eyes and said, "Your mother has been admitted to the ER. Bobby used your skateboard and cracked it across your mom's face." I feared Bobby as a 6-year-old boy. I feared for my mom's life at all times. I felt helpless, and what hurt the most is at times when I thought that it would be the last time, she would always take him back. I was goofy and silly. I loved to joke and play. I used laughter and jokes to mask and cover how I really felt inside. At the time, I had no brothers. It was just me, my mom, and 4 sisters in the projects of North Memphis. My mom was not perfect. After all, she was 16 when she got pregnant with me, and my 4 sisters were stair-steppers, coming right behind me. Looking back, I suppose she did the best she could with the knowledge that she had. I didn't enjoy school, but not because I wasn't smart, intelligent, or bright, but because from the moment that I walked through the doors, I felt judged. I never wore name brand clothes. Everything that I wore was either cheap or clothes that I had had from previous years before. I couldn't understand or process why people made fun of me as if I was the one who purchased my clothes. Again, I questioned, God, why me? So many times I wore the same pants to school 2 and 3 times out of the week. I felt inferior to the other kids. I could not be who I really was, and they could not see me for who I was. I never fit in. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, I just did not fit in. Now, I didn't start this series to throw a pity party, or to complain, or to make people feel sorry for me. These are just a few of the trials and tribulations that I've faced in my life. And trust, I'll be going into great detail throughout. But I said that to say this: we all have a story, and it's not all bad, but it takes the good and the bad together to make your story complete. Your car starts and runs from a battery that operates using a positive and a negative post. Take either one of those posts away and your car will not start. We must remember at all times that God is the author and the finisher of our faith. And he that begin a good work in me will complete it. We are all like clay on the potter's wheel. God being the master, molding and shaping us into perfection. And we must trust him to complete our process.